Hello all, this is Varun Manik, and today we're going to learn about the CI/CD pipeline for AWS ECS, ECR, AWS Code Commit, Code Deploy, and Code Pipeline. So all those tools we're going to use in this project. So this project typically takes 10 steps. It's a very high level steps over here. So likewise in step one, the Docker basics, we're going to learn about like how we're going to install the Docker in a Linux machine, how we're going to pull the CentOS 6 image and then create an index file and create a Docker file through which we can create a Docker image also. Okay, and similarly, we do have a very similar steps and simple steps for the steps 2. Okay, so let me explain and tell you that how we're going to create an ECR repository and log in over there, and then we're going to create a repository, then push this particular Docker image over there, right? So similarly, we're going to do this project step by step, step 3, 4 till 10, right? So without making any delay, let's go to the AWS console and try to complete this project as simple as possible. So I already logged into my AWS account and I am in a North Virginia region. So let's go to the EC2 console and let's click on the running instance. Click on the launch instance. I'm going to select this Linux AMI 2018 version. And let's go with this T2 small. Make sure it is not a free version. So for your own practice, you can utilize the T2 Micro, which is free. So by default, I'm choosing the default option. Let's go to the storage. It should be the default one. Tag, default, and select and security group. So what I'm going to do is create a new group with name Docker DMZ. And port number 80 should be open to everywhere because we are going to launch the Apache web server. And this port number 22 is custom to my IP only. Okay, so I'm just reviewing it. Click on the launch button. And now I'm going to create a key pair with name Varun Docker. I'm downloading this key pair. It is there in my download section. Okay, and now I'm click on the launch instance. So this is how simple step we're gonna create a EC2 instance, and just click over here, just name it Docker. Okay, and let's assign a public IP to this, means the static IP. So I'm gonna create the elastic IP right now. Okay, click on the elastic IP. Allocate one elastic IP for this. It's allocated, then click on the action and associate the elastic IP to this. So there is only one running instance, which is Docker. Just click here, press associate. Yes, it is associated. So let's go back to the instance. Okay, so this is my Windows machine, and already I have a WSL running on my Windows machine, and I'm at the download folder. So if I can put LL, I can see my PEM file, which is I have created just now. So I'm gonna change the mode with ch mode 400. Okay, and now I'm gonna copy my instance IP. So let's copy this one. And I'm gonna do the SSH over there, SSH-I, your key pair name, and EC2-user @ your IP address. Hit enter. It will ask for a confirmation, press yes. And now you are logged into the AWS newly launched machine, right? So let's utilize the sudo user sudo-i to get inside as a sudo user. And first thing first, yum update -y. That means, yeah, I'm providing the permission to yes to download all the packages. Okay, so it's already updated. So let's do one thing, yum install docker -y. It will install the docker. Now you can see docker info. Docker is installed, but it is not running. So let's service docker start. Check the service. Service docker status is running, and then you can clear the screen. Sometimes I can press Control L, so make sure like don't confuse with this Control L or clear. So docker info. Yeah, so this is the docker info information about this and all the detail about your docker. Okay, which version, like 19.0.36 CE, right? And all those details. So let's move forward and pull our CentOS Docker image, right? So Docker pull CentOS : the version name CentOS 6. So it is pulling an image in my local machine. So this EC2 machine I'm always utilizing as a local machine because this machine is we are going to do all the things from this machine only, right? So yes, the CentOS is there. So Docker images, if you can see, okay. You can see there is a repository is CentOS, tag is CentOS 6, image ID is this, and it is created like 16 months ago. Okay, so let me give you a little brief of Docker, and then after that we can move forward and create all those ECR and CI/CD stuffs over there. So just to let you know, if I want to run Apache service inside the Docker, there is a couple of ways to do that. So one of the way I'm going to show you the manual way, and then after that I'm going to show you the proper way to do that. So let's run a command with the Docker run -i-t, that is interactive terminal, and I'm not utilizing the detached mode, which is D. So just an interactive terminal. Docker run -it and -p for the port. So I'm gonna utilize the 80 colon 80. Okay, and which image you want to do that? So I'm just copying this image ID, hit enter. Now I'm inside this Docker container. Okay, so without making any delay, let's install yum install httpd. Okay, so it will take some time to install the httpd. Yes, yes. Okay, and now I can see cd var www html. This directory is already created while installing the httpd. Then just create a index file to say I'm coming from Docker or something. So echo I'm coming from container, and let's save this one with index.html. Now you can see index.html is created. So if you can go to your browser over here and just copy this one and paste it in a browser. That's good. So we found some error over here. And let's troubleshoot this error first. So if I remember well, my security group is already allowed the port number 82 everywhere. Okay. Okay, the mistake is that it's a very common mistake, right? I didn't start the service. So service httpd start. Okay, now it's started. And let's try one more time. Okay, I'm coming from container, right? So yeah, this is how we run the instance, and inside the instance we can pull the container images, and we can with the command, with help of the command docker run -itd. Okay, and this is the port number 80, which is my host port as well as my container port and my container ID. So with the help of this command, we can logged in inside the container, and you can see the difference between this EC to IP address as well as this container ID. So that means I'm in the container and I have installed the Apache, and then after I have created a file index.html and start the service, and it is running in that way. Okay, so this is the manual way to do that. So I'm pressing Control D to exit from this container. And now if I can see the Docker PS, so there is no image, nothing like that. Okay, so if I'm putting -a for all, I can see like 3 minutes ago, we have created a Docker container, and it will like 15 seconds ago, we have already exited it. So how to do in a proper DevOps manner these things. So for this, I'm going to create a Docker file. But before this, let's go to the OPT directory for this and create something called mkdir Docker. So all my folder, all my project for this, all my files for this project is available in this particular folder, right? So, okay, let's go inside the Docker and create a file name, Docker file. Okay. So I already had copied couple of things for you guys. So yeah, so this is the one I'm gonna copy it. And just to let you know, this is from like which container you want to run all the projects, and who is the maintainer. You can put your name or email address, and what are the commands. So I just need to install the Apache over there, and I'm just copying the index.html file to my where www.html location. And at the last, I am utilizing my service of httpd must be on whenever my container is available in the running state, and it will expose the port number 80. So this is just 6 lines of command. I'm just gonna save it. Okay, wow. So escape, then :wq. And as you said that index.html, which is not here. So vim index.html. Let's create and copy and paste it from my notepad++. Okay, let's go with this. Okay. So for building a Docker image from your Docker file, the command is docker build -t, that means tag, and you can tag anything. Let me put web server. And what is the location of your Docker file? So the current location. Okay, hit enter, and now it will create an image for you. with all the instruction we have given in the file. So the download of Apache is done. It's copied the index.html file to the HTML location, and then the command of Apache and foreground is running over there. It is exposing the port number 80. So there is a lot of thing to explain in this Docker thing, but this is not a specific class for Docker. So I'm just giving in a high level overview. So if I can put the Docker image command in my terminal, now I can see my web server command is there. So let's check whether it is working fine or not. So just run this one. And this time I'm using the ITD Docker hyphen interactive terminal detached mode. What is the port? Port number 80 for your host, then port number 80 for your container. And what is the name of your container or the image ID, any of them you can provide it over there. So for me, I'm just giving the image ID, and let's hit enter. And now I can find some error. Okay. It should be. Yeah, so that's very common mistake. I forget to put the run over here. So docker run hyphen itd hyphen p, that is port, and 8080 and your container ID. That's all. Okay, so it's running right now. So docker ps. Now I can see one container is running over here with name of Sweet Bassi. So let's go again to your browser, refresh it. Now you can see the CI/CD and Docker tutorial by Varun Kumar Manik. And yeah, this is my pretty cool name. Okay. And this is the version 1 in a green color. That's what I have just launched a container inside the EC2 instance, and it's working fine. So let's move on the step 2 of this tutorial, which is the ECR. So let's type ECR over here, an Elastic Container Service or Elastic Container Registry. So let's click on the registry in the new tab. And before making any delay, let's put on the get start. So ECR is nothing but a repository for storing your containers like a Docker hub. So it's a specific service from the AWS. So let me put the name Manik Cloud. Okay. And yeah, that's all. Click on the create. Now this is my URI. This is my Manik Cloud name, repository name. This is my URI created at this. So yep, without making any delay, let's go to the view and push command. So this is how you're going to push your thing, push your container to the ECR. So first of all, we need to successfully log in over there and copy this command and go to your terminal. I'm pressing Ctrl L to clear the machine, clear the screen, and just hit enter. Now it can see you need to configure the AWS configuration with the access key and ID. But as I told, and we started with the EC2 machine, so let's go and create a role and attach that role with this machine. And I believe so I already have some role. Okay, but okay, let's go with the flow. Let me create a role for, so I'm gonna create a role. Okay. Okay, create a role. And common use case for EC2, I'm just utilizing EC2. So on behalf of my EC2, and just for this tutorial purpose, I'm just selecting an administrator access. But do not do it at your production environment. That's a very bad practice. But it's okay in the demonstration kind of thing, right? So EC2 access for other AWS resources, right? Create a role. So we have successfully created a role. Go back to your EC2 instance and click on this, action, select your machine, click on the action, go to the instance state, instance setting, choose the attached IAM role, and then EC2 access for the other AWS resources, right? And click apply over there. Now you can see this role is successfully attached with this machine. Here you can see the IAM role, right? So let's go back again to your terminal and try run one more time the same command. Wow. So this is the magic happen and we successfully logged into the machine. Now the second part in this step to tag your machine, to tag your Docker image with the same name your repo is created. So, okay, where is the, okay, let's go to the ECR again. View push command. And now here you can see the Docker tag command. So let me copy this one. Okay, go back to my terminal, paste it here. And just now I need to change my existing Docker image, which we already put the name as a web server, right? So you can just enter this and check again Docker images. And here you can see this web server with the latest tag we have created. And right now we just rename it, or, I just make a tag with this, the new repository name and with the latest tag. Okay, so we already done this. Let's go back to the console again. And here they can see how we're going to push this particular particular container to the ECR, right? So Docker push command, I just copy and paste it. Okay, it's not copied successfully. Let's copy. Okay, sorry, it's my bad, guys. Docker push, and if everything is okay, it will be pushing my image to the ECR. So my running image is already successfully pushed to my ECR repository. Let's check it over there and verify it. Go back, go inside the Money Cloud repository. And here you can see the newly created or newly uploaded resource is available. It's morning near about 3 o'clock, right? 2:57. So yep, in UTC it's a 6:57, right? So yeah, I'm in a Singapore time zone. So yeah. That's why the time difference is there. So yeah, half of the part we have done it for the ECR, and now I'm going to move on the ECS things. So let's create a ECS, which is Elastic Container Service. So just click on the ECS in a new tab. And I believe so, like you guys know about the Elastic Container Service, and also I'm not going to define most of the thing, but yeah, this is the task definition. Here you can see the cluster, and if you can click on the create cluster, you can find this kind of thing. So, but let's start with the task right now. Okay, so here we need to create the task definition. So for Fargate, for this tutorial, I'm going to use the Fargate. So just click on the next, put your task name. So I'm putting it, let's put CI/CD, or CI/CD tutorial something, CI/CD task. Okay, and it's Fargate task role. So there is no role right now. And this role is specifically utilized when your containers need some role to access the AWS resources. But for this demonstration, we are not going to use it. We just going to use the default things. And here we're going to choose the size. So I'm going to choose the size for my task is 0.5 GB, which is minimum, and then 0.25 vCPU, which is also a minimum criteria, because this demonstration, we don't require more. And here you're going to add the container, right? So here is the catch. You could put any name of your container, and I'm going to put the web1, okay, and the image repository URL. So just go back to your ECR, copy your URI, go back to here, paste it the URI, and here there is a lot of option. You can go one by one and check it, and if you can press on the I button over there, you can find it out, the explanation of all the things, right? So because it will be a very long video, so I don't want to explain all those things. So let's go with the important things. So here you can see the memory limit, soft limit, or hard limit. So if you can put a hard limit, it will automatically allocate that particular memory for this 0.5 GB, which we have already selected previously. And in soft limit, whatever you're gonna put it over there, and that will be slowly allocated as per the use. It will be allocated to your container. But again, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just putting the port number 80. Okay, because my container will be running on the port number 80. And then let's go down, and storage login. I don't want to make any changes here. And this is one of the important thing about the log. So automatically this particular task will create a log group in your CloudWatch, and all the logs should be available on that particular location, right? So I'm just gonna press the button add. Okay, and let's go and create this task with all the default values. So this task is created. Let's check the task. Okay, it's already created. Now go back to the service, or go back to the cluster and create a cluster. So I'm going to create a cluster for the Fargate. So I'm just choosing the networking only because this is required for the Fargate, and these two other options for the ECS, which can launch the EC2 machine for you, right? So cluster name. So let's put like CI/CD cluster. Okay, create a VPC. No, I don't want to create any VPC with this default thing. Just click on create. So my cluster is created with 0 services, no task running over here, nothing like that. It's a clean cluster. So let's go and create a service. So I'm gonna choose the launch type. And guys, those who are not familiar with this ECS cluster, what is task and service, you can go and read one by one all those things. You can get an idea about this. Click on this I button and you can find it out, the optional detail over there, right? So I believe like you guys have an idea about that. And even though if you do not have, you just follow my instruction and you can create a fully CI/CD DevOps pipeline for the ECS. Okay, so just follow my instruction. So here I choose the Fargate, and automatically I can see in the drop down menu my task is available over here, and there is a no division. Okay, so thus division 1 is latest, it's chosen already over there. And put your service name. So let's put a common name like service 1. I'm okay with the service name, service 1. And how many tasks you wanted. So let's go with the 2 tasks just for the demonstration purpose. Minimum healthy percent, maximum healthy percent. Again, you can just click on there and get all those details, right? So, okay, do you want to blue-green deployment or rolling update? So right now I'm going with the rolling update. Go with the next step. And yes, here we want to give some VPC detail, whether you want to create the VPC or all. So I'm going to choose the default VPC for this. What are the subnets? So all the subnets I'm going to choose one by one. Okay. As this is, okay, let's go with A, B, and C. Rather than choosing all, let's go with the A, B. Let's choose B also, A, B, and C. This is the B. Okay, so three subnets I have chosen out of six. Okay, and it will create a security group for you. Fine. And do you want to go with the load balancer? Yes, I do want to go with the load balancer. And yep, now here we do not have the load balancer. So before moving forward, let's jump to the EC2 and create the application load balancer quickly, right? So just click on the load balancer side and click on create load balancer, choose the application load balancer. Just give a name, just give a name over here, ALB, ECS or something, right? And it should be internet facing. And what protocol it's going to run. So HTTP is fine for this experiment. And what are the availability zone you have chosen? So I have chosen 1A, B, and C. So pretty good for this. Move forward, right? Just go with the security group. And yep, just choose this guy also, Docker DMZ, which is open. Okay, and I'm okay with the default one, right? So routing, you want to create a target group or select a target group, but we didn't have any target group, so just create one thing, target group one, which we are not going to use, but for creation of this ALB, we require one, right? So yep, protocol is HTTP, port is 80, path is slash, and yeah, you can put the healthy threshold too, right? It will make the things faster. And click on the register target. We don't have anyone, so let's go with the next, create, and your ALB is up and running, and this is your ALB DNS. So moving forward, we're gonna use this ALB DNS. Okay, let's go back to the ECS and let me refresh it over here. Now I can see my load balancer is here with the container name web1 and port 8080. So you can, if you want, you can click add to the load balancer, then you can create the new services. If you choose one, so both of the things will work for you, right? So let's go and follow my instruction. And rather than service one pattern default, let's go with the health check this pattern with this, put evaluation order one. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new target group for this, right? I could able to use the previous one also, which we have created over there, but I'm okay with that. So here, a quick catch, if you're gonna click on the next, it would going to the next one. Okay, but in the previous experiment, it was not going for the next button. So I have to created this enable directory integration, which will create some service, some identification on the route 53, right? So yeah, but here it is working fine. So let's go with the next. Click next because we don't want any auto scaling. And I have to choose this security group also in AWS ALB, right? So let's create this service. It will take some time. Meanwhile, we can go to the load balancer and go to the security group and just choose the security group too, right? Save it. Come back to the ECS, view your service, And if everything is fine, you can see there is a 2 task is provisioning right now. Okay, and you can see the event service 1 has started with 2 tasks. This is the task ID. So if you want, you can click any of the tasks in the new tab. And here you can see the auto scaling. We didn't set anything in auto scaling. This is the deployment. And we just did our deployment over there with the 2 desired count. And this is the primary status for this. And here you can see the metrics where you can able to see the graphs and monitor your things. And for the log, there is no log right now. It will take some time to get some logs over here, right? So go back to the task, go back to the details, and yep. So this is the load balancer group name, the VPC and networking. All those networking stuffs are there. And in the task, we can see 2 tasks is running right now. So before going to the load balancer or anything else, let's go and see the tasks. So I have already opened 2 tasks and it's in a pending state. So just wait for a few minutes. It will be available. Yeah, it's now in a running state. And if you can check it out over here, this is my task, and whatever things we have defined in the task definition, it's already here, right? So, yep, let's go and check the another task also. My mistake. Okay, so this is the second task, and you can see it's running successfully, and all those details you can find it out, whatever we have set it in the task definition, right? So if everything is working fine and all things seems to be good, so let's go back to our load balancer and check it out, the DNS name. Open a new tab, copy your ALB DNS name and hit enter. And it is absolutely working fine. This is the expected outcome I'm expecting. Now we have created the ECS and we have created the task and service, and everything is running fine, right? So till this part 1 is completed. Now I'm gonna tell you about the CI/CD part of this, right? How we gonna create the code commit, how we gonna create the code deploy, code pipeline, and code build, everything, okay? So yeah, be ready for the part 2. So we gonna create a code commit resource in AWS. Code commit, you can take it from here. This is the alternate of the GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab, it's completely based on the Git technology. And here you can see the developer tool, all those things are there in the pipeline with the new console. So without making any delay, let's go with this create repository. So repository name should be, let's go with my name, Manik repo. Okay. Or let's make it Docker repo. Okay, and click on the create. So to make a setup with this code commit to your EC2 instance, there is a few things you want to do it, right, in IAM user. But before that, let me tell you why we require that one. So just copy this particular command, which is a git clone command, and make sure that your instance have the git. So yum install git, that's all. It's already there. Oh, it's not there, right? So we just successfully installed the Git. I thought it's already there in the EC2 machine, but okay, it's my bad. So let's copy and paste it over here, this command, which is cloning my repository, the code commit repository to my local machine, and we can find some error. So it require my username as well as if I can hit enter, it require my password too. So there is a couple of way to do that. Let me tell you both the way with the username and password and as well as the SSH also. So let's go back to the console and all the instructions. So this is the beauty of AWS that all the instruction you can find it out on the same page, right? So here you can just click on generate the Git credential and it will tell you all those stuffs like how you're gonna do that and where you're gonna click it, and each and everything is step by step is here, right? So to save our time, I can just go to the IAM because I have already done this many times. So just go to the IAM. Okay, this is my IAM user. I'm going to my user. Okay, and here I can find it out the security credential, and in the security credential you have the option to generate the credential for CodeCommit, right? Generate a username and password you will use to authenticate the HTTPS connection and all, right? So here you can able to do that. So let's generate it for one time. Okay, and yep, so this is my username and password. So anyhow I'm gonna delete it. So let's copy these things, one by one. And if you're gonna see again, if I'm gonna run this command, right? So it require my username. I'm just pasting my username over here, which is copied from this location. Okay, and this is my password. Copy it, hit enter. Now, this time we didn't find this fatal error, which is authentication failed. We already, able to get this particular, we already able to clone this particular repository. So if you can see with the ll command, the Docker repo is already here, right? So, yep, we have successfully clone the Docker repo from the AWS code commit with help of my username and password, right? But moreover, I'm not going to use this username and password. So for you, because see, once you close this, you cannot see your password again. So better you can download your credential or copy and paste your credential somewhere else. I'm going to close it, right? Because I just want to show you the second option, right? So here you can see the SSH key for your code commit. And if you want to learn more, just click over there. It will open the another beautiful document for you. You can go ahead and find this all those steps, right? So, yep. So come back to the code commit. And again, I just wanted to redirect you one more page. So for Linux, so this is where they have let you know how to do the SSH connection, right? It's a quite tricky. It's not that easy as a GitHub or the Bitbucket. It's a quite tricky one. So that's why I'm trying to focus you here at this part. Okay. So we have to create some SSH generate key. So let me go back over here and clear my screen and SSH-keygen. Okay, this is command to generate the key pair. I just wanted to put some name like code commit, that's all, or even though not needed, right? Just hit enter, 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 and that's all. So your ID RSA and ID RSA.public key is downloaded in some location, and that location is somewhere around the at your root location in SSH directory. If you can put LL, you can see ID RSA and ID RSA hyphen .pub, right? So we need to just copy this public key, this public key dot pub, copy the content, go back to your IAM user, upload your SSH key, paste. Okay, it was not copied. Okay, paste it successfully and upload the SSH key. So once you uploaded the SSH key, you can see there is a SSH key ID, and that requires in after a few seconds later, right? So this is how we have created this SSH, uploaded this SSH key, the public key. Now you can go over here, and in this directory you have to copy this particular line and create a file name config, paste the copied thing here, and now you need to copy your SSH ID from your IAM location. Go to your IAM, copy this one, paste it here, right? Okay. So I'm utilizing the Vim editor for this, and your private key file name here. So my private key file name is ID RSA, that's all. ID-RSA. Okay, that's all. And again, you can come back and see the instruction. So here your private key file name here, and we already provided this ID. And then you need to run this chmod config command, because config is the file name. So let's clear the screen. And chmod config, if you can put ll, you can see the ID RSA public is only for the read write. Okay, and if everything is fine, then we need to check it out whether we can able to clone it or not, right, in some different location. So just copy this one, go to your cd opt. So previously we are working in the Docker directory. Just for the testing purpose, I'm going to click this clone command over here, and let's see whether it is successfully authenticating or not. Just give the yes for authentication, and it's permanently added a git. This message you are getting over here, and just put ll, you can see the Docker repos there. So we have successfully integrated our EC2 machine with CodeCommit in both the ways, with credential ID and password, as well as from the SSH also. So let's go back and focus on our CI/CD project. So I'm going to the Docker repository and Docker directory, where we already cloned this repo. Now I am moving my Docker file and index.html file inside the Docker repo. Okay, so let's get inside the Docker repo. Okay, I press Control L to clear my screen, so do not confuse. Okay, yep. So without making any delay, let's play with the Git command. And I believe so you guys know the Git. If you don't know what is Git and how you can utilize it, you can search it on Google and you can find the other way to do that, right? But for this particular project, you just follow my instruction. So I'm gonna add the Git files. So the command is git add, utilize dot, which can include all the files. And now you can see the Git status. So here, the only one branch is there, master. There is no commit yet, and there's a two file in the cache, right? Docker file and index file. So let's make a git commit. So you want to give some message. So I will always put AM and first or primary files. Okay. Now it is already committed. And if you want to check the Git status right now, you can see there is a two file which is already is committed. So let's push that, clear the screen, and just run the git push command. Wow. So yeah, it's again asking for a credential. So let's go to the IAM right now and delete our credential things, right? Generate credential. This guy. Select it. Delete this one, right? Let's type delete. It will delete the existing one. Now we have only one way to SSH to our repository is SSH public keyway, right? So let's go back again and wait for a couple of moments. Let's do it again. Git push. My goodness. Wow. So let's go back there, and again I just want to move all the file outside, and I want to delete this repository and clone it again. I'm moving it here, right? And let's rm-rf. So rm-rf is to remove the directory with all the files and whatever things there. It's a recursive forcefully removal. Okay, let's go to our code commit, copy this line again and clone it. Now it's cloned. Move your docker and index.html file to the docker rep. And see, you have seen that like this time we are cloning and it won't ask any credential or anything, right? So let's move inside the docker file, docker rep, directory, and git add dot git commit minus primary files git push. Okay, so it is successfully uploaded in the master branch 4/4 object has been successfully updated. So if you can go and check your repository and just see here, and boom, inside my Docker repository. So this is my repository. Inside my Docker repository, I can see my Docker file. I can see my index.html. Okay, so this part has been done for the code commit. Let's move to the next part, which is code deploy. So what I'm gonna do it with the code deploy, whenever we push anything in our code commit, automatically it will take the source file and build a Docker image in the code deploy. Okay, so let's close all those things here. Okay, so let's go to the build section, getting it started. Or else, if you want, you can come from the code build here also. Just type build, it will, code build is the second option, and you will be redirected to the same page, right? So create a build project from scratch. Just name it Docker build. Okay. And yeah, so here is some trick, and you have to follow that trick, right? Because it's quite few places it's so tricky, and you could not find in the documentation and all. Neither you can find in any YouTube video or any other technical videos. So yeah, so I will let you know the trick at the end of this part somewhere here, right? So in the code commit, you have to first provide the source provider. So a couple of options is there. Uh, S3, GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitHub Enterprise. So I'm gonna choose the code commit and which repository. So we do have only one repository. What is the branch? We have just a master branch for this. Then which image you want to take it, where you want to build your uh, Docker container, right, or Docker images. So I'm always the Amazon guy, Amazonian mind. So I'm choosing this Amazon Linux too. For you, you can choose any Ubuntu or Amazon Linux too, not the Windows one, right? And the runtime environment, so standard runtime environment, and which image you want to use it. So I'm going with this standard 2.0. And yeah, this is one catch over here. You have to click on this checkbox so that it can build a Docker image. If you would not click a checkbox, there is no other way to build a Docker image inside this particular machine or inside this particular code build. Okay, so yeah, that's one catch. And here we're gonna create a new role because we don't have any existing one. So I'm gonna create a new role. Okay, and let's go to the configuration for the VPC. Okay, we do not require to install any certificate or all, and install the S3 bucket. So we don't require it. Let it be as it is. We don't require any VPC. Let it be as it is, the default one. And inside this build spec file, we need to create a build spec file. Okay, so that's one thing. And in the artifacts, just say that, okay, we do have an artifact and we need to provide the bucket name over here, right? So I'm not choosing it right now, but once my code pipeline will run, I will come again and edit this code build and I'll choose this artifact. So this is one of the very important catch for CI/CD pipeline with this AWS tools, right? Okay, so yeah, as of now, all things is good. So let's create a build project. So it will take a couple of moments to build the project based on our configuration. Yeah. So if you're gonna click on a start build, you can start building your Docker image and all, but it's gonna fail it because we do not have a build spec file, right? So it will take some time. And meanwhile, let's go with the options. Here's a tail log. You can see all those log for 1,000 till 1,000 line. Yeah, so you can see almost 1,000 line in this one, and we can see it's there is a no YML file available for buildspec.yml, so it's failed, and it's an expected behavior. So before moving forward, let's do one thing. Let's go to our terminal and create a build spec file, right? This is my terminal. Control L to clear the machine, and vim .yaml. Okay, and here I have the content for buildspec.yml. Okay, let me change the ECR detail, right? The repository detail. ECR. Just copy the repository URI, and I'm just replacing the existing one. Yes. So in production, you would not able you should not show your all those details. There is another way with the environment variable in the code build, so you can utilize that environment variable things. But for the demonstration purpose, I'm not utilizing that one. So just copy this and go to your terminal again and okay, paste it over here. Let me have a look of this, and it seems like okay. So let me explain you this. This is the version, and there are the phases. So there is a three phases in this: the pre-build phase, the build phase, and the post-build phase. So pre-build phase, what we are trying to do, we are trying to log into the ECR. Okay, and this is the command for logging to the ECR. Then in the build phase, we can take the date and image, and we're gonna build it from the build command, which I already showed you in the initial stage of this project, right? And here you can find the Docker tag command, which can tag your Docker image, the existing, the newly created Web1 image to the repo URI, right? And then post build, once your Docker image is already tagged, then it's gonna push, it gonna post your Docker image to the Amazon ECR service, right? So this is how it's very simple thing. Okay, this is how we're gonna save it, and let's commit it again. Okay, so yep, git add git commit add another file or add build spec file. Git push. Now it's already there in our code repository. So if you want to check the repo, you can go ahead and see the repository, and inside the Docker repo, my newly created file is available, buildspec.yaml. Okay, go to the build section, go to the build project. We already have a build project. And if you want to edit something over here, there is the edit button. Yeah, in future we're gonna do it. So let's start building this project. And here you can override all those things if you want. There are way to override these things, right? So environment variable, what I have already discussed with you. You can, if you don't want to provide the security things over there, then you can, just provide inside the environment variable. Security things that is referred to my AWS account and, few other things. So this is the account number and all. If you don't want to give, there are other way to do that. So let's start building this project. And this will take some time, so I'm going to pause this video for a few moments. Okay, so this time it runs successfully, not successfully actually, but it runs from till next few step. And this is an expected error what we are facing over here. And it says that you do not have permission to contact with the Amazon ECR. Okay, so let's do one thing, go to the IAM and find it out the code build role and allow the ECR access over there, right? So inside the role, just find code. Okay, so this is the newly created role, and click on this role, go to the attach policy, find the ECR, Elastic Container Registry full access, right? Now it's done, and let's go back to the code build. and retry this one again. Retry the build. So it's building the build. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, it's creating the image. Now my image creation is almost done. Okay, and it's installing the packages, Apache and all, and their dependency. Yes, so image creation is completed, and see here the push refers to the repository and it's successfully pushed. Yeah, so the status is succeed. Now if you can take a look of this repository of your money cloud, you can see it's a newly created newly pushed container is available over here. Okay, so moving forward, what we want to do whenever we try to upload, or any developer try to upload any code in the GitHub or in the Bitbucket, it automatically it can create a build, and that build should be pushed to the repository of ECR, and from the ECR repository it can push the repository or push the container to the Elastic Container Service, which is my Fargate, right? So half of the way we have done successfully. Let's go and create the code pipeline to complete that. Okay, to complete that all section, right? But before that, let me make some changes and show you again, right, how to do it manually. Then you could be able to understand once we have created the CI/CD pipeline, fully working pipeline, right? So let's do um, let's do in a very manual way. Okay, let me do one thing. Uh, I'm just gonna copy this particular color to my container. Okay, vim index.html. Or just make a very simple change. Make it 2.0, and this is version 2, right? And then git add git commit version 2. Okay, git push. So in my code commit, if we can see in the code commit, my version 2 should be available. The changes should be available. Let's see and verify it. This is my index.html file. And now you can see the version 2 is available. And for more info, if you want to go for this, then go to the commit. And here inside the commit, you can see the commit ID. Click on this commit ID, and you can see the changes. What are the changes we have done? So we have just replaced 1 to 2. That's all, right? Yeah. So if you're gonna do on the deployment section, sorry, in the build section, go to the build repository, select your Docker build, and start building it again. Just click on the start build. So now build is successful. We can see it's a successful build. Go to your ECR again and refresh it. Now you can see this newly created build is available on the ECR. So let's go to the ECS container, and let me show you what I'm trying to do with our automated way. So click on the ECS. So this is my CI/CD cluster, right? And if I'm there in the task definition, but before going to the task definition, let me show you uh, the exact output what we are getting it, right? One moment. Yeah, so this is my ALB, and still it's version 1, right? I'm refreshing it, and I'm getting my version 1 over here, right? So yeah, what I want to do, I want to just manually transfer version 1 to the version 2. For that, I need to go to the task definition, select this task, and create a new version. So select the role. We don't have any role. Either we can choose none or ECS task role. Both of them is fine. We are not utilizing the role, so any of them is fine, right? So go with the none, or choose this one, right? And AWS VPC, Fargate, as well as everything is by default. And here you just want to change your container, right? So here, just go to your ECR, copy this URI. Although this is the same URI, but we have to paste it again to make it update until unless it would not accept it, right? Okay, and create this one. So once you created this task, you can go back to the CI/CD task. All thing is done. Yep, yeah. So go back to the CI/CD task, and here you can see there is a couple of versions. So if you want to select this one, the newly created version, and go to the run task or update any service. So if I'm going to choose the update service, which service you want to update? So I do have only one service, service one, and I'm going to update next step, right? So configure networking configuration is fine, health check is fine, load balancer is fine. Click on the next, next, and update the service. So once you update the service, you can check it out in the task section. There are two another task is provisioning right now. Okay, with the version 2. It will take a couple of minutes. And meanwhile, you can check it out the events also. Inside the events, so previously there were two tasks, right? And here we can see that there are two new tasks has been created, right? Inside the deployment also, if you can check it out there. So yeah, so primary was 2 and active was 2, right? So you can see the time difference also. One is almost 43 minutes ago, right? So primary one is 1957 and the secondary one, the active one is 1908, right? So yeah. Yeah, and in the matrix, if you want to see the matrix, this is the matrix right now. And logs, let's see whether there is any logs or not. Okay, no logs. But anyhow, all the logs should be available on the CloudWatch log. So let's go back again to the detail and see the task. And now all four are running. So in this time, if we can go to the ALB and we can just refresh it, so we can see the version 2. But all four tasks is running right now. So sometimes we can see the version 1 or version 2 both, right? It's completely depend on the task and the ALB deregistering the task. Okay. So what do I mean ALB deregistering the task? If you can go to the details over here, and here you can see the target group, right? Okay, let me open. in the new tab. Let me open in the new tab, right? So load balancer. Okay. In the listener, we have this target group. T. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to show you here. So two newly created tasks has been deployed in the Fargate services, and the old one is draining it right now, right? So this is what I mean to deregistered deregistered from the target group. So come back to the ECS, go to the task, and now you can see it will take some time to make it feel from here the deregister, but as already it's not there in the not behind in the load balancer. Load balancer is already deregistered them, so we can able to just click it many times and we can see the version 2. So this whole process I just wanted to automate with this code pipeline. So I believe it's a quite long class, but yeah, it's a very informative and very, very subjective class, right? So let's go back again to the EC2. Okay, uh, code build. Now let's go to the code deploy section, uh, code pipeline section, because this is not a blue-green deployment. So let's choose the code pipeline section, go and click on the getting started. Create on the pipeline, click on the pipeline, right? ECS pipeline, right? I'm going to create a new role for this and go to the advanced setting. It will create a S3 bucket for you. Just click next. Now, what is the source provider? So for source provider, I have a code commit over here. Then what is the repository name? My Docker repo. What is the branch name? My master branch. And Amazon CloudWatch events is recommended. So go with this. Click on next. Which is your build provider? Code build is my build provider. Okay. What is the project name? Docker build. And let's go and click next. It is asking for the deployment stage. I'm skipping this deploy stage as we do not have the code deploy. Skip it. So my bad. Let's move back to the previous one. Yeah, inside the code deploy, we need to select this ECS, Amazon ECS, Elastic Container Service, and then it will appear the CI/CD cluster name, the service name, and we need to provide this uh, file name.json or definition of the file. Okay, but right now I'm not going to give this file name over here. Let's click on next and find the error first. There is a few error we're gonna receive it, and one by one we can solve short all this error, right? So just click on the create pipeline. It will create a pipeline and it will run it for you. So yeah, just wait for a moment. So now it is getting connected with the code commit. So typically source and second phase is build. and the third and last phase is deploy. And we are gonna get the error in this particular section, right? So the first section is done. The second section is building the code. It will take some time, so I'm gonna pause this video. So as I said that the first two stages should be passed, and the third stage will we gonna face some issue, right? So let's click on this pipeline execution ID and see what kind of error we are facing it right now. So it says that we do not have the S3 access, this code pipeline role which we have created while creating the code pipeline, which do not have the access of the bucket, right? So first of all, let's go to the IAM and provide this bucket bucket access. So go to the IAM, which is not open yet. So let me open the IAM right now. Go to the roles. So this is the role we have created. Click on this role. Go to the attach policy. And let's go for the S3. I'm giving the S3 full access right now. And yep, it's done. So I'm gonna retry. I'm going to the code pipeline and I'm trying to go to the pipeline and just retry this particular stage, right? Deploy stage. Now it's trying to deploy again, and I strongly believe that I'm gonna find some error for this. Just wait for a couple of moments. Yeah, so it's we can see that. Okay, and still we are facing the same problem. So as we still facing the same issue, so to resolve this issue, let's do something on a code build section first. But before that, let me show you the S3 section where you can see a new bucket has been created from the code pipeline. So this is the code pipeline bucket has been created here with ECS pipeline, and all those artifacts are available over here, right? So this is how the code pipeline will store the artifacts in the S3. So remember, I have discussed something in while explaining the code pipeline, right? Code build. There's a catch. There's some trick to get that one. So go to the code build section here. Go to the projects. Click here. Edit this. And let's go to the artifact one. So Amazon S3, and my bucket name is code pipeline. And that's all. Yeah, so go to the path section, put slash, and just for a namesake, you can put like output or something, right? Any name you can give here. And namespace type, so it's none. And for me, I'm gonna choose the zip. It will zip it. And yep, so just update the artifacts. Okay, and if artifact is updated, let's go again to the code pipeline and go to the pipeline and just select this one and release changes. So let's release one more time. Now I'm going to pause this video for a moment. So after making these changes, still we are getting the same issue. Okay, if you can click on this particular error, And again, it says that the permission issues, but actually it's not a permission issues, right? So let's go and make some changes there inside the pipeline, okay, which is very important right now. So let's go back to the edit button and select your ECS in the deploy section, edit the stage, click on this icon, and here you need to choose the build artifact as a source artifact, right? Source artifact, that means it is taking source from the code build, right? And yeah, one more thing, one very important thing, we need to provide the detail of the identification file, which I already have it for you. So let's copy this image definition.json and type it here. Okay, image definition.json, and just click on done, right? And save this one. So what is image definition.json? Let me show you here. So it's typically just want my image name, my container name, what is my name of container, and my repo URI. So let's go to the task. This is my ECS, and let's refresh it. Okay, so these two task has been deleted, what we have done it, manually. So let's go to the task definition. So my task name is, or my container name is CI/CD task, right? Just copy the CI/CD task. You can see it here, CI/CD task. Copy it here, paste it here, and the URI of my ECR is this. Copy it, and paste it here. I think, wait. Okay, and then copy this JSON file over here. Go to your Linux terminal, Vim, just copy it here, and paste the JSON in your Vim. Okay. Now post this file to the CodeCommit again. So git add git commit -am image definition.json. Git push, right? So let's go again and see our pipeline, whether it is running or not while pushing the code in the code in the code commit, right? So I can see it's running again from here. And then it will come to the code build, and then it will go to the code deploy. So yeah, so code commit part has been done. Code build will take some time, so I'm going to pause the video.